Hey again. I look the same. I look busted because Corona, okay? This is the second video of the Corona Chronicle series, and this video is going to be titled just Staying Sane in the Quarantine World because we are all basically on pause, practicing social distancing, self quarantining, isolating ourselves. And, I'm pretty sure that it has taken an emotional and psychological toll on a lot of us. We all have our days. As mentioned before, we're in a very unprecedented time, and a lot of things in our lives have changed, and we have to find a new normal. So there's a saying that says that some things you can only learn from a storm. So we have to figure out what we're going to learn from this storm. We're currently in this pandemic. So I'm going to just run off a list of 8 things that'll help us cope with the anxiety of, life right now. Especially as dental professionals, we tend to be very type A, control freaks, as some people like to say. But what can we do to cope with the anxieties of life right now? Okay, so first one, if you see me looking off to the side, I'm just reading my notes. Okay, thank you. The first one is to establish right priorities. You know, we have time to put things in perspective right now. So let's just make sure of the more important things in life. Right now, for me, health and family is important. So for you, you have to figure out what's important. Okay. Number two, the second thing would be to set boundaries. I know a lot of people, including myself, um, have been on social media, but to some extent, we have to back away because a lot of the information that we're getting on the different forms of social media, even here on YouTube, can give us sensory overload. And the last thing that we want to do is overwhelm ourselves even more than what we're overwhelmed with right now. Okay. Number three is structure. I don't know about any other hygienists or assistants out there, but I love structure, even if it doesn't look like it's structured. So you have to find out what works for you and what is going to be your new normal. How are you going to structure your day? If you're someone like me who likes to plan, have your day set out and logged, even though you're at home, and let's say you are single and you don't have any kids, maybe your structure means napping all day. But sometimes if we put that in a plan, it can actually make you feel good because you know that you've accomplished your nap for the day. Okay? I don't know. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. Okay? But you have time to figure it out because Corona, you shouldn't be working. Um, and the next thing is writing. I don't know how many people out there like to write. Um, I like to write sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But the thing with writing is that it helps us get out of what's in our head. A lot of times we're stuck with all these thoughts, and we may or may not have someone to talk to. Especially right now, we're isolated. At least if you can write your thoughts out and put that on paper, you'll be able to get out of your head somewhat and just sort things out because life is crazy right now. So we definitely want to be able to not be so stuck in our heads. I'm sorry, guys. My camera, it looked like it was dying on me, but we were talking about writing, okay? So write it down. Go ahead, write it down. And then at the end of this, you'll be able to look back and see how far you've come, how much you've gained from the experience, and, look back on this crazy time because I know we're going to have some stories, okay? The next thing would be to go ahead and do one task a day. I know I like to feel accomplished. Like I said before, I like my lists. I like to have things planned. So if you can do one task at least a day, at least you know you can get some type of satisfaction from going ahead and getting that task done. The next thing would be to stop projecting negative feelings. This one can be tough, especially since a lot of us have been laid off. A lot of us, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the next few weeks, months. Um, will we have a job to go back to? I don't know. I hope so. I'm thinking positive about the situation. So instead of having those negative thoughts on your mind all the time, let's meditate and visualize ourselves when we can go back to work. What do you want your career to look like? How would you like to practice dentistry? Think about those things. Think of it from a positive light. Next would be to get moving. Okay? There's nothing like exercising, moving around, getting those endorphins flowing. It actually helps also with getting your mind off of the negative things. Case in point, today I had a little moment. Instead of dwelling in that moment, I went ahead and went on to my next task. My next task was to get some movement in. So I took a dance class online because social distancing, okay? And I felt so much better after moving around, getting the blood flowing. The last thing on this list is human interaction. Now, I know you might be saying, Tia, you just said social distancing. We're supposed to be practicing that. But yes, human interaction, phone calls, text messages. Everybody and their mama is in a Zoom conference right now. So, as much as possible, you want to use the tools that are available to you. In the previous video, I mentioned the book, Love in the Time of Cholera. Back then, they didn't have TV, cell phones, computers, and all these electronic devices and means of communicating with people. You had to go in horse and buggy. But guess what? Social distancing. So from the comfort of your home, make the most of your phones, your tablets, your computers. Interact with your friends, your family, your coworkers even. Check up on them. They'll appreciate it. So those are the things. I will list those things at the bottom also of the video. And in the Facebook group, I'll expound on it a little bit more. But what are you guys planning on doing since you're home? I know a lot of you are stressed out and you don't know exactly what's going to happen next, but what do you plan on doing while you're home? And if I can help at any point in helping to get some clarity about some things, definitely go ahead and hit me up because I have time. Let's chat, okay? All right.